PGA professional and director of instruction at Azalea City Golf Course in Mobile, Alabama. With me today is Shirley Yeager, our LPGA and PGA apprentice at Azalea City. Shirley is a longtime student of mine. I've been teaching Shirley for 6 or 7 years now, when she started in high school. And now she helps me with my program, helping me teach juniors and the junior girls and the high school girls and women and everything. So very glad to have Shirley along with me in this video. And I wanted Shirley here in this video because what I'm going to focus on is this video is for you ladies. Okay, this video is about one of the main issues that we see women have trouble with in their golf. You know, all women want to hit the ball farther. When they come to us for lessons, they want to be able to make the golf ball go farther so they can reach par fours in regulation. And the part of the golf swing that we have to focus on for power is the pivot, okay? And what the pivot is in golf, the pivot is the turning of our body to the right and the turning of our body back to the left. Now, when I was working with you, really going way back to the high school days with the pivot, it was difficult for you, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, over the years, working with Shirley has really helped me to work with lady golfers, and I work with numerous female college players as well. And Shirley's kind of been a little bit of my experiment in getting to know the female golfer more than the male golfer. I mean, I knew the male golfer, I knew what the male golfer needed to do, but Shirley really helped me figure out how the female golfer needs to learn and what they need to learn, what's important. So today we're going to talk about the pivot and the importance of the pivot for women. The pivot is your #1 power source, period, okay? One disadvantage that ladies have playing golf is lack of upper body strength, right? You don't have arm strength, you don't have the wrist strength, you don't have the forearms to manipulate and control the golf club like a guy can get away with. Now, doesn't mean that the pivot is not important for the men. It's just as important for the men, but the men can overcome some flaws for strength, yes, where the women have trouble. So let's show them, Shirley, what the pivot is like. I want you to stand here and do our little drill, and I want to talk to them. So what we're doing with Shirley here is in the backswing, we want to make sure that Shirley gets her left shoulder to rotate over her back foot, okay? Now, that is, okay, stand up and relax. What that's doing is that's getting her upper body behind the golf ball. If we can get her upper body behind the golf ball, then we're going to be able to get Shirley to turn her body through the ball, generating power. So again, let's get yourself set up. So we're going to get a turn of the shoulders. Now, I want you to notice how her hips have stayed very stable and her legs have stayed very stable. Okay, stand up and relax. The big flaw that we see with ladies most of the time is they tend to let their hips slide to the right. When they get their hips to slide to the right, their upper body tends to lean back to the target. Okay, stand up. So if we had a golf club in our hand, let me demonstrate, Shirley, the typical lady backswings that we see. Yes. We see hips slide, arms lift. Okay? When the hips slide and the arms lift, the arms tend to then go too far and they get the big overswing that then they're not strong enough in the downswing to recover from. So by us learning to make the correct backswing pivot, we are going to minimize the backswing or shorten the backswing, make it more efficient, more tight. Okay, so let's do it again. So again, notice she's got perfect posture. She's got a little tilt to her spine. She's going to wind her left shoulder behind the ball. Hips have stayed solid. Now, she has now got all of her weight loaded into the right side, and she's turned her back nice and tight. Okay, stand up and relax again. That's the key. The lower body has to hold. while the upper body turns. Okay? Difficult for you, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so let's show you how Shirley practiced, okay? Now, we're going to turn and we're going to look from our down the line camera.
Shirley, let's turn and look in this mirror. And we're going to, I want you ladies to do a mirror drill, okay? You're just going to do the motion that Shirley was doing at home in front of a mirror. And if you don't have a mirror, it can be a sliding glass door or a window, anything that you can see your reflection. So we're going to get Shirley to bend over like she did. Her eyes are focusing on what she's doing in the mirror. Her posture is perfect. She's going to turn that left shoulder behind the ball. Great. She's going to stand up and relax. She's going to do it again. She gets in her posture. She rotates her shoulders. Now, one thing that we did work on with Shirley a lot was Shirley tended to let her head move a little too far to the right when she was doing this. As opposed to getting a good wind-up, she liked to laterally move. So when Shirley's doing this pivot drill in the mirror, she's concentrating on her head as well. So get set up one more time. Perfect. Now turn, head stays steady. Perfect.
There is the backswing drill, okay? That's how we're going to learn to make a proper backswing pivot. Now, let's talk about the forward swing pivot. The forward swing pivot, let's turn and face the mirror again so we get looking this way. So now we've got you in this camera over here, and you're looking at Shirley basically from where the ball would be coming. We want to get her to learn to turn her shoulders to the target, getting her right shoulder to get closer to the target. Okay? This is getting her upper body now over her left foot. And ladies, you want to turn as much as you possibly can turn here. Okay, now let's face this camera again. And let's get the forward swing, and I'll point out a couple other things. So turn to the finish. I want you to notice how she lets her knees come together. She gets all the way up on her back foot on the toe. Her weight is all forward. Her right shoulder is really outside of that left foot. Okay, great. There's your power. Learning to turn behind the ball, then learning to turn through it. If you can do those two things, develop a great pivot, then you're going to have a whole lot more power built up in your swing, and you're going to be able to hit the ball farther. So now, let's show them the forward swing pivot.
Here's turn and face me this time. Now, I want you to notice we now have the mirror over here to the Shirley's left. She's in perfect posture. So she's now going to just learn to turn to the mirror. Perfect. Okay? And get to the finish. Now, let me grab one thing here. I'm going to grab my club. Okay? Get back in your posture. And I want to show you one thing that Shirley does in this. I want you to notice how she maintains her posture. Okay? Turn. Notice how she stayed bent over and stayed in her posture. Okay? Very critical in this drill. We can't have our posture changing. Standing up, coming down, standing up.
Quick so wrap up. Ladies, if you want more power, you got to learn to have a correct pivot. You got to learn to turn your upper body behind the ball, and then you got to learn to turn through it. Okay? Anything you want to add to that, Shirley?
No, I don't think so. I think that's all.
What was your most effective way to practice when you were learning this?
In front of the mirror in the pro shop, I just did the drills.
Yeah, it's funny. You go into the golf shop, and when there's nobody in the golf shop, Shirley's always got a club in her hand making golf swings. Okay? We got a spot right out in front of the counter that she just makes golf swings over and over. And so it's repetitions, isn't it?
Yes, not hitting balls.
It's repetition. So when she is in that golf shop and when she is in her mirror, she is making sure that she does those repetitions correctly every single time. And that is flowed right over into her golf swing. Okay? Thanks a lot. If you have any questions, you can look at my website. Send me an email, whatever you'd like to do. And I hope this video helps.